The sensory garden? Who are you? I'm Zach.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
Can you tell me what the sensory garden is?
Absolutely. So the sensory garden is a really cool space where we invite everyone to use their senses
Everyone?
to explore plants. Yes.
What kind of plants are we
Yeah.
gonna see?
So we have tons of different types of plants that we can smell. We can touch different textures and look for different patterns.
So
and
they
colors and
smell
shapes.
good and they feel good?
Absolutely.
Should
Would
we-
you like to go?
Yeah, can we?
Let's do
What
it.
should we see first? Woo! Fireworks. Well, can I touch anything?
Absolutely. So if you use gentle fingers, you can rub the leaves, feel the textures.
Wow.
Yeah, feel
That
how the
feels-
flowers might be different textures than the leaves.
It's not as soft as I thought they would be. These almost feel like sandpaper.
And then feel these ones. How does that
Ooh.
compare?
What is this one called?
So this is southern wood.
Southern wood. It feels like feathers. Like a bird's feathers. That's so soft. That's amazing, guys. We're touching so many different plants. Should we see which other plants we can touch? Where should we go?
Are this way?
Whoa. This one has like silk on it. And this one feels softer than the other leaf.
And even this pine tree.
A pine tree. Don't we have lots of pine trees in Colorado?
We do, especially up in the mountains.
Wow, I love mountains, which means I love pine trees. Should I smell it?
Go for it.
Whoa! Kind of poked my nose a little bit. I wonder if Willie's in here somewhere. Willie! Willie! Can't find Willie. I think we're gonna have to keep looking through the sensory garden. Should we keep going? It is such a nice day here in Denver. It's 7:30 in the morning, guys, and I have so much energy. Wow! These plants are giving me life because don't plants do something like that? Don't plants kind of give us life?
Absolutely. So we rely a lot on plants for our food, to help put oxygen back into the air. So plants are really important for just about anything you can think of. The fibers in our clothes, even the colors in our clothes, a lot of times come from plants.
Wow, so this is made out of plants? This is made out of plants? The air I'm breathing is because of plants. The food I ate last night, well, that was a salad. That's definitely plants. Amazing. Plants are so cool. And this one says touch and smell, or toque y huela. I'm gonna try it. Wow. This one feels like felt almost. And it smells?
Get that
Whoa.
nice sagey smell.
This is sage. Wow, guys. This is another plant we can use for cooking. This is so soft and so cool. And look at these pretty flowers right here. This isn't sage though, is it? So this is a whole garden with all different animals and plants living together? That's so cool. Wow. What else is in the sensory garden? Should we see?
Yeah, let's take.
We still can't find Willie either. Don't worry though. I've got my eye out for him. Wow. Where are we?
So this is the herbarium.
The
So we
herbarium.
have thousands of stored specimens of plants. We also have different mushrooms and fungus, and then some arthropods, so including insects and maybe even spiders.
Oh my gosh, so
Should
all
we
back
go
here
see?
are the collections?
Yeah, so let's go check out
Guys,
the collection.
let's go look for the collections of plants. So this is where all of the plants are kept?
Yeah, so in each of these cabinets, you can see different names of
Come around the
different families.
Willie!
Well, hello! You guys found me in my hiding spot. Here I was looking at all this interesting stuff about these plants. Sorry I got a little wrapped up, but it's great to see you guys.
Guys, I'm gonna let Willie take over the show now. Now that we found him in the Botanic Gardens, I think he's gonna talk to you about some cool plant stuff now with Caitlin. Bye-bye!
Yeah, so like our friend Zach said, we're gonna look at some really cool plant stuff that they have here at the Botanic Gardens. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Willie.
Hi, Caitlin.
Nice to see you. Hey, is there any cool stuff that you could show me out in this room?
Let's check it out.
So guys, we made it outside here in the Denver Botanic Gardens, and I'm pretty sure up here to my right, there's a cool view of what it looks like out in the Colorado Plains. Yes, right here to my right, it says the Laura Smith Porter Plains Garden. Is it right to say that a lot of the vegetation that we see out here is what it looks like out in the plains?
Yes, absolutely. On the prairie, the shortgrass prairie in Colorado is one of my favorite ecosystems. So there's a lot of cool stuff to see in here. Lots of cool species to talk about.
Yes, from what I've read here on this sign, although it's called the Plains, it is nothing plain. Guys, there's over 250 types of different types of plants, and this is all what you would see out in sort of the western region of Colorado. So imagine this for miles out in the eastern plains, guys. There's all sorts of like tall grass and these sorts of stalk sort of things.
Yeah, lots of wildflowers.
Yeah, what can you tell me about some sort of the plants that we see out?
Yeah, let's go take a look at some of the plants. So this first one, we see lots of different yellow asters. These are going to be sunflowers.
Yeah, they look exactly like sunflowers.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so these sunflowers, and you can see there's different types of beetles and bees. So tons of insects that use all of these different plant resources.
Oh my gosh, guys, we are seeing pollination happen in real life.
Hey kids, have you ever wondered how flowers make new plants? It's all thanks to something amazing called pollination. When bees, butterflies, or even the wind visit flowers, they're not just stopping by for fun. They're collecting something called pollen, tiny yellow powder from the flower's center. See that? The bee is covered in pollen. When it flies to the next flower, it drops off some of that pollen, helping the flower make seeds. These seeds will grow into new plants. Without pollination, we wouldn't have fruits, vegetables, or even beautiful flowers. So next time you see a busy bee or a fluttering butterfly, remember, they're helping the world grow.
Hey, are you enjoying this video? Well, we have a lot more of these with no ads on getgoalie.com. That's also where we sell the coolest kids tablet. Check us out at getgoalie.com, and there's no ads.
So here we have our state grass of Colorado. So this is blue grandma. So we have a lot of that growing around. So these are the seed heads.
It looks sort of similar to like wheat or something like that. Is this plant edible?
So it's edible to a lot of animals, not to us.
Wow, it looks like there's some sort of cacti to my right.
Yeah, so there are a lot of plains prickly pear cactus in the prairie. We oftentimes think of a desert when we think of cactus, but the prairie is also a very dry ecosystem. So cacti like these prickly pear can do really well in this ecosystem. So this one over here is lead plant, also called false indigo. And these little right here are the flower stalks. So it might be just getting ready to flower. Maybe we can find somewhere the blossoms have opened.
Wow.
And then grasses also flower. Did you know that grasses can have flowers?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so grasses are all in flowering plant families. So if you look really closely at these grasses, you can see the pollen and their little flower structures hanging down.
Wow, that is super cool. Even though it's called grass, sometimes they can still have flowers.
Yeah, so all grasses reproduce through flowering.
Wow. So guys, we've made it to the next part of the Denver Botanic Gardens. I think we were in the Shofuin Japanese garden right now. And looks like we got another helper friend to check us out. Hey,
Hi.
I'm Willie. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Willie. My name's Helena.
Alina, great. So we're in the Japanese garden part of the Denver Botanic Gardens right now. So this time is going to be a little bit more influenced by Japanese sorts of gardens and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So if you look around right now, some of the plants that we have here are called bonsai. Come on over and take a closer look.
Yeah, I think I've heard of bonsai trees before. These ones are like miniature versions of trees that require a lot of pruning and taking care of and things like that.
They
Right?
do. So we call it training the
Okay.
tree. And actually the term bonsai doesn't necessarily relate to the plant itself. You can bonsai just about any type
Oh,
of
really?
plant. Yeah, so we have a lot of variations here. This one is actually a juniper.
Wow.
You can tell
I've
because
s-
if you look closely at the needles, we say that juniper needles have scales.
Oh yeah, it does look
on
like a little
them.
scaly, like a lizard or something like that. This is so amazing. I've seen a juniper tree before. There's some all sorts out my neighborhood. I didn't realize that bonsai was more like a technique for pruning a tree, not like the type of tree itself.
Bonsai actually refers to the fact that it is planted inside a container.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so training it, it's really just kind of something that we do to keep it growing well, maintained inside the container.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of these trees too are pretty old.
No way.
Yeah.
That is super cool. guys, it looks like we made it to another bonsai tree here on our left. And
Mhm.
I've seen this sort of tree before, but never in this type of style. This is the ponderosa pine, right?
It is.
Wow.
Exactly.
Guys, this is a fantastic sight to see. They have it contained in this pot in the bonsai style, not sort of like the ones that you would see in the wild. Is that right?
Exactly.
Wow.
This is the gate that is the true entrance to the Shofuin Japanese garden here at Denver Botanic Gardens. It is also known as the Garden of Wind and Pine here at the Denver Botanic Gardens.
And why is that? Because there's a lot of wind and there's a lot of pines. Is that it?
Exactly.
Super cool.
So some of the pines that we'll see in here have been shaped by us. They're known as character pines, but they've also been shaped by the winds on top of the mountains where they were collected.
Wow. So I was learning a little bit more about Japanese gardens earlier today. Like we were saying, everything is placed very intentionally. It has something to do with balance and stuff like that. Is that right?
It does, exactly. So you can even see here from the pathway. The pathway is meant to represent the flow of water. That
Really?
is also very important in the designing of Japanese gardens.
Yeah.
But if we look, the pathway represents the flow of water from a mountain down through the garden.
Yeah, just like a river up on a mountain travels from high to low. That's what we're doing right now. And it sounds like there's a little bit of water nearby. Maybe we should go check that out.
Yes, let's go see.
There's some more fish right here. It's almost like they knew we were coming. Check these out. There's an orange one, and then there's a blue one. And I think there's a couple smaller ones that you can see towards the surface. Guys, that is so cool. So guys, we made it to the next part of the Denver Botanic Gardens, and here we are at the Trailhead Terrace Rooftop Alpine Garden. Wow, that's a mouthful. But anyway, this is more of like the children's garden, is that right?
It is. This is the Mordecai Children's Garden.
And there's a lot of cool stuff to see, is that right? I heard this is sort of like a green roof sort of thing.
This is called a milkweed plant.
Really?
And milkweeds are really important to our monarch butterflies.
Wow. How do they help the monarch butterfly? I love those guys.
Yeah, so monarch butterflies will actually only lay eggs on the leaves of milkweed plants.
Only this type of plant is the ones that they lay their eggs on?
Exactly, only milkweed
Wow.
plants.
This must be pretty special.
It is pretty special. If we look closely, you can see some of these have been nibbled on.
Mm-hmm.
That may have come from a monarch caterpillar because they also
Wow.
eat the leaves of
No
this
way.
plant.
That is super.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. So then any monarch butterfly that wants to transition from a caterpillar to a butterfly, they need to have this plant.
Yep, they absolutely have to have the milkweed.
Are they
plant.
pollinators too or no?
They are pollinators.
Really?
Yep, that's exactly right. So it's a bit of give and take
Yeah.
with the monarch and the milkweed plant. So the monarch comes along, it will pollinate the milkweed plant, help it to make seeds. This is a nice little milkweed seed pod
Yeah.
right here so that we can grow new plants.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, the plant provides a home and food for the monarch butterfly.
That is super cool. So the
Yeah.
monarch butterfly and the milkweed have a sort of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation.
Exactly.
That is super cool. And I didn't know that butterflies could be pollinators too. Normally when I think of a pollinator, I think of a bumblebee or things like that. But there's a ton of other sorts of pollinators, is that right?
There are. I also like to think about hummingbirds and other types of birds too as pollinators. So if we look at plants, the flowers and the plants actually have different shapes.
Yeah, they do.
And so pollinators will have preferences of plants that they like to pollinate. And then the plants themselves can sometimes only be pollinated by certain pollinators.
Really?
Yeah, so if you take a look at this coneflower right here, you can see it's pretty open and broad.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say a bee could land on this plant and pollinate it.
Yeah.
A butterfly could land here.
Yeah.
Maybe some type of beetle could come over and pollinate this plant.
Yeah. I mean, we learned earlier that things like the colors and sorts like that, they attract different pollinators, but it totally makes sense that the shape would too. Because this flower has an open sort of shape, it allows anybody to just come in, pollinate, and leave.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
That's right.
Well, guys, we've learned so much cool stuff here at the wetlands, but I think it's time to wrap up and talk about all the cool things that we've seen today at the Denver Botanic Gardens. We learned about how important pollination is and all the different types. We've seen a bunch of different types of wildlife, things like plants, animals, things like that, all the way from the Great Plains to Japanese-style garden. Hey, Petey, what was your favorite thing that you saw today?
I like the Japanese-style garden. It made me feel really calm.
Definitely. I was feeling super calm. Well, guys, thanks so much to all of our helpers here at the Denver Botanic Gardens. You guys were such a big help. And if you guys are ever here in Denver, you should totally come check this out. Well, this has been Willie Wanders and Petey the Penguin, and I'm signing off. Thank you guys for coming along on this adventure, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya!
Did you like this video? I bet you loved it. Well, then you should like and subscribe to this channel so you can get all of our videos. Now, if you really, really love the video, check us out at getgoalie.com where you can subscribe to these with no ads. Can you believe that? No ads at all. Now, stay tuned for our next video. It's coming up right here. You can click on it.